You know, I went down to Work Source down there in Wenatchee today, and this has really got me fired up today. I went down and I asked them, I says, hey, I used the computers last week to get a picking job, but I can't remember which ones I used because I ain't getting nothing out. I said, what's the keyword? Well, the girl comes over and sits down there and she says, what are you trying to get? I says, picking job. She says, is it none? Well, I said, well, how come I went to this one for the farm labor and tractor drive, and I got two newer ones, but they were still like last month's. So she really didn't know what she's doing. She says, well, you should apply at other places. I says, no, I've been coming up for years. I travel. I'm a Vietnam vet. I choose to live out here, but I like to get work. But I come up here, and this year, it's harder than it was last year. They got a bumper crop. You know, so she tells me, well, you got to go out there. She goes, have you been out there? And I says, yeah. I said, I went out last week for one of the ones you had in Leavenworth. And she says, well, what happened? I said, well, they said they already had the H2A workers coming up. So I go back to job services and said, no. And I said, I wanted to complain. They asked, did you go there? I said, yeah. Which they says, can you prove it? Well, how do you prove going out to an orchard is, you know, they don't take applications at harvest. They ask you know how to pick, maybe ask you one or two questions, and then you get hired or not. So that's a bust. You know, I mean, it is getting harder. You know, if Obama was doing his job, like, quote, they're to kind of close down the border, how come there ain't no border patrol up here and they know there's thousands of, well, let's say 1,500, 2,000 undocumented workers up here? And I know for a fact 800 came into Yakima last week, and there's supposed to be, they said, another 1,000 this week of H2A workers. Seattle says in the paper a week or two ago, it's because it's work that we don't want to do. How can you get a picking job if they already signed a contract with somebody to bring up documented workers to pick? You know, it just doesn't work. You walk around this valley. A few years ago, and I want to say 6 years ago, you'd come up here and you'd see Border Patrol. You'd see the vans going around or whatever. Man, I've been up here almost a month, and I haven't seen one. And I've been at places where they normally do show up. So if they're closing down the borders and that, it's pathetic. It's like going up to Bristol Bay and go and work out there for North Pacific Seafoods. You talk to a couple of guys, they don't speak English, and they're illegals from Mexico. How do they get to Alaska? You know, if they're shutting down the borders, you know. I want a job. My right as a Vietnam vet and being a domestic and being an experienced picker, I'm supposed to get a job. How come I don't? How come I'm living in a tent? That's it for me. What do you think?